So can you state your name and your profession?
My name is Raymond T. Baza. I retired from the Department of Defense as a security police officer. And right now I'm disabled from the military, and I'm occupied with a lot of organizations.
I see.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Mr. Baza, you remember about the event in 1975 when Guam received the Vietnamese refugee at the time Saigon fell. Do you remember anything, and can you share with us?
When I first heard the message came out to our command when I was working for the Navy, they broadcast that there's going to be a huge amount of refugees coming in from Vietnam, and they call it Operation New Life. And from there, I didn't even thought anything about it until I was called by Admiral Morrison. He was the admiral at that time, when he instructed one of his staff to come down to my job site and recruit me to head the Operation New Life. So we have a staff meeting at the used to be Comnop Mar, Commander Mariana's headquarters, and we have discussed what's the procedure, the steps that we're gonna encounter, and instructed me to get a hold of a lot of Chamorros that married Vietnamese or stateside that married Vietnamese, so they can all assist. So at that time, I gathered maybe about 10, approximately 10, and I just assigned them on different areas. However, the Anderson Air Force Base commander at the time have his own group to assist up there from Anderson. So I was tasked to maintain myself at the old NAS hangar, at the Navy hangar, when back then was under the Navy. So when we arrived there in the evening, when the flight is coming in, we all have name tags, so the Vietnamese people that's coming out from the plane can be assisted by us group. At the time, my wife I signed her to help out, give food, clothing, and other stuff that they needed, like toothbrush, towel, to wipe themselves, and to comfort them. And I have Mr. and Mrs. Larry King, and there's others that I cannot just say right off because I have to think, remember everything. So actually my job is to get their names and give them to a station where they give food, clothing, and whatnot. And from there, they will be loaded by buses to be taken down to Rody Point or Asan Annex, or up at the Tumon housing area where the Navy has it, used to occupy that by 2 Lovers Point.
So go back in time a little bit. So you was with Vietnam veteran, or you was a
I was a soldier in Vietnam as an advisory with the psychological operation.
for
and
Navy?
For the Army,
Oh, for the Army.
Army intelligence. And when I first joined the military, I was trained to be a mechanic,
I see.
to work on a truck. But when I got there, I didn't work on my skill. I had to go into a new line of job that is very critical and is needed to assist people from the mountain. They call mountain yards that are it's not adapted to the city life. And I've seen so many horrible things, and at night, in my sleeping quarters, I dream of it. Have nightmares with it. But I learned to accept, because that time we're all human. When you do something, it's like you're being ordered by your superior or ordered by someone that are so cruel to human being.
Can you share with us, you said that you were ordered to do something that it bothered you, your conscience. Can you share with us what it was about?
When I first experienced that is when I encounter little kids. I'm so fond of children because children are innocent. And when I see children being abused, being slapped around, that really bothers me. Okay. And when I see human beings, that are so cruel, that uses this kind of mentality of, I understand war is war, but innocent children, let's be realistic then that children are innocent. You can shove them on a corner, but not to dismangle, to abuse the kids because they're innocent. However, if you're encountering enemies, like the opposite side, that we protect the people of Vietnam, South Vietnam, to be familiarized with civilization. Well, enemies don't think about saving lives or using common sense. They use his forces. When I say forces, they use power to gain other people's strength, or use weapons or whatnot. Yeah.
I believe beside all horrible memory in Vietnam, you also have a very beautiful love story in Vietnam.
Oh yes.
Can you share that?
Well, when I was there in the latter part of 70s, I was on assignment. A helicopter that I rode with, a Huey, got shot down, and when I jumped out, I injured my foot. So luckily that Vietnamese Army, South Vietnamese Army, and one female nurse, that's the only thing I saw is a female nurse. And when I passed out, okay, because they dragged me to a safe place because they don't want me to be caught by the opposite side, by the enemy. because they'll use every means of seducing me. And I lost buddies that were in the chopper with me. So when I finally woke up, I met this beautiful nurse, and I said, "Who are you?" And she said, "Không biết." And I said, "Oh, okay, you don't understand." So we communicate by sign language, and the colonel that was with the South Vietnamese Army evaluated me that I'm already can walk on my own, and they already tend me for my injuries. They decided to take me back to my company, my unit. So I said, "I'm not leaving." She's leaving with me. I said, I want this girl. She saved my life. I'm gonna save her life. So, like everybody, how they say this, love at first sight. That was my first love. It's not me right then, and then we got married. We came to Guam. I left her here, which I have no choice to leave her here.
What year was you married?
July 1st, 1971. And we spent our honeymoon in Saigon, where we visited some of her relatives that we lost contact when Saigon fall. Yeah, so when going back to where I left her here, I went to Germany, and from there I kept having problems, using the phone and all this stuff to speak to my wife. So I requested to change command. I got to be stationed closer to the island. So when she needs me, I can just fly home, because my wife is she's Vietnamese, and she is new to my island. And by the way, I'm a Chamorro native son of this island. And us Chamorros, when we went to Vietnam, we all share bond with the South Vietnamese because we look alike. We communicate in so many ways. Yeah. After I was stationed close to the island, which is Okinawa, I was there for at least 7 months, and then I got discharged, sent back home. And from here, I started with a new life and a new way of understanding my wife. So from there, we bond, and we said, we promised each other that we will stay together until we depart the island, in the world.
How many Chamorro came to Vietnam to fight, and how many of them, lost their life?
When we first went to Vietnam, there's so many Chamorros that was there. A lot of them are living in the States and became resident of the United States. So I don't know how many of them came, and our Chamorros here was when we first graduated. our notice came out, so to be drafted, taken to the military. So when I don't know the total amount that was there in Vietnam, but the total casualties in Vietnam recorded was 70. But when they look at their birth date and home of record, it's on Guam. So the 7 names came from different places in the States, and then that's how they got counted into our casualties. And by the way, Guam has the highest per capita in death in Vietnam.
So during the time you fought in Vietnam and you come back, how is the people in Guam treated you? Are they like other in the state that many of them against the war and kind of like didn't treat the soldier right who came to Vietnam, come back to Vietnam? Was it the Chamorro do the same way? I was like,
No, the Chamorro people are so humble. They understand the way, because we have experienced war from the Japanese in World War II. So our parents are really adapted to that, and plus a lot of our brothers and sisters here in the island are so humble to greet Vietnamese, because Vietnam and Guam is no different. The culture is almost the same, the custom is almost the same in ways that we share bondage.
So go back to the evacuation of Vietnamese refugee in the Operation of New Life. Can you tell us that how many refugees you received and how you were helping them with? What would you helping with?
I could not exactly tell you how many I have processed. I have sent off island. I have treated with kindness. Welcome them to other families that are willing to assist. The Chamorro people outside the tent cities that we put on. And the military did wonderful things, because they built the tent in just one day. It's like a city in one day. The governor is very, very humble, and the First Lady, Ricky and Malin Bordalio, they are the first governors that opened their arms for the refugees to come to the island. So when we get together on occasions, we share bondage. So we like when we have barbecues, we barbecue with them, and we take them around, show them the beautiful island that they came to. And from there, they really liked the island. They really enjoyed going to the beach, theaters. But the worst experience that I encountered is children, infants. They're so hungry, malnutrition. You can pick up an infant with one hand because of when they depart Vietnam. and in boats. Okay. And for 21 days, outside the ocean, you're starving, you're thirst, there's nothing to eat, to eat because people are so crowded in that boat, and that really touches me because kids cannot speak. They're in pain, but we cannot feel their pain. They want something, but they cannot speak to it. Okay. And that really hurts me. Throughout the days that we have the operation in life here, I have buried 14 adults and probably 8 to 10 kids. I have assisted with the military, and that is, at night I have my nightmares. But I told myself that someday they'll be free of pain. Because the pain that we endure no match to anything.
So, I believe that the veteran cemetery allow them to bury in their cemetery. Can you tell us about
At that time, the cemetery was under the Navy, under the Navy control. So the admiral of the Navy authorized the burial there. And then the government of Guam took over under MOU, Memo of Understanding, that it's going to be as a veteran cemetery, and what's there remains there. I believe when the Heritage Federation came the first time, we have shown the gravesite, and I didn't recall taking them to the other side where all the babies were put at. It's been an experience.
So, do you remember how the refugee came to the island?
The refugees came in by boat, ships, and by air. Both Anderson Air Force Base, runway, and NES Aganya under the Navy. The fluctuation of incoming is so tremendous. People crying, people want to be hugged, kids just want to be held on. I have so many kids come to me and say, "Thank you. Come on, thank you for my freedom." And it really, that thing, when a small child come to you and say thank you, it really touches me, because they needed help and we helped them. They needed love, we give them. they needed shelter, you shelter them. They're hungry, we feed them. That is the best thing that ever happened to me in my life. Is kids running towards you and saying thank you. So during that time, I was proud to wear the Vietnam flag pin. When my best friend died just this year, that took away half of my heart. See, Tony Koo, he is very, very die-hard soldier. His unit is our ally. We work together. When he passed away, part of me is going with him.
So, you remember what the refugee brought with them?
They brought clothes, anything that's valuable to buy their life, their freedom. So you don't need no money for freedom. Keep what you got. If you want it to be put in a safe place, we got people that can take care of that. Put it under your name in a safe place. But there's so many things happening during that event. People's exchanging bullion or baht for money, American money.
Yes.
So they can buy their whatever they need. And I was not a part of that, and I said, that is yours. You left your country with this. Get yourself something to build your life.
So, what their state of mind like? Are they homesick or are they happy when you lie? How it's work?
On their state of mind, that they just want to be free. They just want to be welcome on a new country, new island, to be treated the same as we treat others, because their country is lost. And when you lose a country, you lose part of your life. When you depart this earth, you take a part of the earth, the world, because your body is just like living in beyond.
I see. So you, because you came to Vietnam, you fought at Vietnam, you fell in love with a Vietnamese, and now a beautiful Vietnamese lady. And the people says, of course, with that background, you love Vietnamese refugee in 1975. But what about the Chamorro in Guam and other people here? Would they receive them, welcome them?
The Chamorro people here on our island really opened their arms to welcome them. A lot of them adopted families. A lot of them adopted children. A lot of them shelter them on their land, or make them stay on their piece of land to rebuild their living. So all in all, the Chamorro people are so humble to welcome the refugees, because like I was saying earlier, we have experienced war. So that's how we embrace the refugees.
You remember any incident during that time when you were helping them? Any incident that you want to share?
There's there's incident that I encountered when most there's, when they die. I escort a lot of them to the Navy Cemetery, and looking at them being gone, and their children, right, is watching them go. That really touches me. So emotional to see children, teenagers crying because their mother or their father is gone. Who's going to help them? So the first child that I experienced when I was holding her and they were covering the grave. She held my hand so tight and I couldn't remember her name. It's been a long time. I hope I see this girl. Tell her your mother is always in you, because it's the fact that she made you, she suffered for you to be alive. She sacrificed for you. I hope someday we meet. Vietnam War is the longest war that we fought in, and it's a cruel war because we're not only fighting the communists, we're not only fighting the North Vietnam, we're also fighting among the Vietnamese. Because what I experienced, we call Congs, the Viet Congs, are the mountaineer people. They wanted to protect their village, and both sides, Americans, French, Korean, outside that ring, they don't want to be invaded because they are more or less a village on its own, a country on their own. They can survive, but they have to understand that the people in the city of Vietnam, the country itself, needs to get together with the villagers to educate them that this is what we got, this is what we can share, educate ourselves together. Because a lot of them are the mountaineer people supporting the the village, the city, because they plant rice, they plant different kind of vegetable, they harvest fish. With us, the people in the city cannot have that. So that's where the import is coming in from the mountain villages.
So, what do you think? Why we lost the war?
Why we lost the war? Politics. Us soldiers, we would like to end the war, but we're fighting both wars. And fighting the regular war, plus we're fighting back in the States. The hippies, the drugs, those are the one that's really hindered the war. And plus the political empires. You know, people want to get rich, get richer. They don't care about the people down that are so poor.
So, you fought, you got injured, you sacrificed in Vietnam, and you come back. I know that Chamorro probably give you more welcoming than people in the state, but overall, look like they look down on Vietnam vet for a while.
Yes.
How you feel about that?
They really want me to just return what they give me. Disrespectful. So I like to give them back the disrespect that they earn, because they don't earn my respect. Yes, I fought for my country, which is their country, and they turn against their country. That's my feeling to a lot of hypocrites in the States. We are more knowledgeable of surviving, more knowledgeable of taking care of our families, because we're all family oriented, just like in Vietnam, they're family oriented. And that's what brought us to this world, to be together. I like to share that you're not alone, and I'm always available. If any of the Vietnamese that needed help, I'll do my best to help. There's a lot of people that I helped are very successful now. A lot of them are well educated. They became doctors, nurses, lawyers that we have, that I have helped. Some of them are children. Their children are in the military right now, fighting in harm's way in Afghanistan, Iraq, or Korea, wherever they got sent to. Yeah.
So how do you tell your grandchildren now about your time in Vietnam and your time of helping Vietnamese refugees here, right here at the beautiful territory of Guam?
They're very happy because they were growing up when the Operation New Life was here, and they know that when dad is being called for duty, they know what duty that dad is going to go to. They also, my children also helped on feeding the refugees. Yeah. And when I say we, me and my lovely wife really put out 101% for the Vietnamese community. And now I change it from community to association. It's now Guam Vietnamese American Association.
Wonderful.
It used to be Vietnamese community, so I changed it and I have it approved by the Vietnamese members, and they all like the change. So instead of community, I make that an associate for the whole entire American Vietnamese. Yeah. This is not Vietnamese. This
Vietnamese American.
Vietnamese American.
Yes. So do you have anything else you want to share and I didn't ask you yet?
Need more Nuk Mamun Bami Ba here in the island. We need more import to the country of Vietnam. We like to be as one, you know, because we're all human. We all do make mistakes, but we have to educate ourselves. And one thing I like to share with Vietnamese: do not get personal.
Good.
Do not get personal. If we're joking, don't take it.
It's a joke.
A joke. That's it. I'm sorry, Xin Lỗi, Andre, Xin Lỗi. I don't like the joke, so we can change our tune.
Okay. Thank you very much, sir, for spending your time.
You're welcome.
And you really did something for our country and our people here, Vietnamese American. On behalf of them, I would like to say thank to you from the bottom of my heart.